Everybody, welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. I hope you can stay with us for the next hour. Plenty coming up on the show. Obviously, a lot of focus on footy in the AFL, the SANFL, with the final series coming around. As always, one of the best openers ever for South Australia. Barry Curtin joins me.
Hi, mate.
Baz, how are you? And
good.
of course, one of the greats for the Port Adelaide Footy Club and the Crows and Essendon and anyone else that would have him. Greg Anderson joins us. Ando?
Thank you. 2 weeks in a row. This is exciting for me. I can't believe I got the call up.
Wait, you can't believe we called you either. We didn't even know we'd called you, so that's how well we're going, mate.
Who called you?
That's
You sure you got a call?
All right, let's
You
get
sure
on
you got
with
a call or you just
No,
turned up?
I just broke in.
No, just
Just came in.
turn up.
Fair
No,
enough.
you know we love having you here, mate. Hey, before we get to the footy, we're good. The Crows had their end of year awards night celebration.
Ferris, yep.
Just quickly want to touch on this. Tex Walker obviously went leading goal kicker, rousing, fantastic reception up on stage.
Brilliant.
Is it over? It should be over. He's fronted the media. He's made his apology. He's back in the club now. Do we need to hear any more about Tex Walker other than what he does on the
I just
ground?
think it's a bit off. I thought it was a bit off, the standing ovation. I mean,
I think for what he's
is not
gone
the
through-
victim here.
I reckon he is.
I think
reckon
Robbie
he has
Young's the
been.
victim.
I think
surely.
they've both been
I think
victims.
he's gone to be the victim because of the media.
Yeah.
They
I
just
just
won't.
think, yeah.
They won't. He's been very remorse. He said, "Oh, I'm happy to be, further educated. I understand I need to be, and please, I'm help me. That's fine." You know, the media have just hit it hard and just kept on bringing it up, and and the young lad Young was very supportive.
Yep.
And I think the support was there for the people that really count. But I think the media really hang him out to dry a bit. So I thought
agree
it was
with that.
great
I think
that
they've
the club
both been
finally
in a
wrapped their
sense.
arms around
Yeah,
him.
in a sense. Look, I just thought the standing ovation was a bit sort of, hang on, pull back a little bit here. They should have just let it
Just showed
go.
a bit of love for him. I think it was a show of love more than anything
I think it's
else.
over now, Phil.
Yeah.
What
And
you
it
said.
should be over.
And it should be over.
Yep.
I agree. But maybe just pull back a fraction on that big standing ovation. I just didn't think that sounded right.
I think
I
the
don't know
Crows,
why.
I
but
don't
just
think it was the
didn't
club
was.
itself. I think that the support from the supporters, the club in its sanctum themselves, they wanted to give
I think it was
standing
love. I think it
ovation.
was a show
I
of
think that
love.
was
I don't
wonderful.
think it was any more than that.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, boys, let's get on with the games. Of course, you're both here. Port Adelaide, 43-point winners over Geelong. Could we see that margin coming?
No, I don't know about the margin.
I didn't think the margin, Barry. I thought
I'll be close
definitely
now.
halfway during that first quarter, I thought the Port's work rate and their speed, really showed a deficiency in Geelong's game, and their, halfway during the second quarter, I thought they was just said, I don't want to be here,
Yeah.
and it was probably it was the first time I actually thought that this is basketball on a big court,
stage. Yep.
because every time Geelong were going forward, they looked up. Port's was already set up in their back line.
Yeah.
Once they turned it over, Geelong go, oh, geez, we just turned it over. No, boys, because Port already set up in their forward line. You've got to chase.
Yeah.
And it was 4 quarters of it.
It was nearly the ricochet effect, wasn't it?
It was
we
the
came straight back
perfect
out and gone.
ricochet effect.
Yeah.
It was, and for the forwards. I mean, like Fantasia 4 goals, and then you got Motlop 2 goals, and you've got Power Pepper 2 goals. So you talk about small forwards, 8 goals out of 9.
You have to give credit here to the coaches at Port Adelaide.
Perfect game plan.
Of course it
Perfect
was,
game plan.
because they picked that small. There's no Stewart. There's no Stewart for Geelong, who's the number 1 defender in the comp,
big
ranked
hole for
number
them.
1.
Big hole
It's a
for them.
massive hole, but they're also not quick. That was the key. They're not a quick backline.
Yep.
So you mentioned them, Fantasia,
Speed.
Motlop, Rosie, Butters. They're quick.
Dersma.
Well, Dersma,
Just keeps
they're
going.
quick.
Yeah.
So, and they got all the goals. So you've got to give credit to the coaching staff there.
Yeah, you're
You've got to
right.
give absolute credit to the coaching staff. Not many people do.
Yeah.
They go, oh yeah, the team played really well, but hey, think about it a
That's a
little
good
bit.
point. Good tick
Their
for them.
game
I
plan,
think
mate, was excellent.
It was
All
excellent.
right,
Outstanding.
I want to ask you about this one because it's possibly where the grand final's heading now. Melbourne 33-point winners over Brisbane. A lot of talk about it
Comprehensive,
looking like Melbourne power final.
I think
now.
so, yeah.
Melbourne were pretty clinical. weren't they?
Comprehensive, mate.
Pretty
Yeah.
clinical.
Yeah,
Over
they-
what?
they
I think
Brisbane
they're
were.
favourites for me. I think they're
I think
favourites.
going in they were favourites. Again,
Gawn,
it's the
Petrarca was
margin again.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oliver, Viney, Neil Bullen, Frisk kicking 4 goals.
Yeah.
Their game was just it just ticked every box
They were
against
very good.
a real quality side that was really having a red
Is
hot
that how you
go.
see the grand final at this time? If you looked at the games on
You'd
the
have
weekend.
to look at those games and go, well, there's only 2 teams can win it, really, and that's Port and Melbourne.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other teams having to come through now and
Yeah.
fight each other to get to those 2 teams. don't they? They have to. Well,
Oh, that's right.
Geelong and GWS will bash the living, what out of each other, and
Brisbane Bulldogs.
and Brisbane Bulldogs.
So what we did see though was no bye. So no bye. The teams that finished on top of the ladder played great footy.
Yeah, that's right.
So
That's right.
they've been rewarded for the year they've put in play. I reckon if there's a message to the AFL,
That's
scrap that
what it's
bye.
all about.
Scrap the bye.
Yeah.
If you want, and it was good footy.
Yeah.
But I think both Port and Melbourne deserved not to have the bye. Played great footy, and so the momentum.
Well,
kept
you're a
going.
bit disappointed with Brisbane. I mean, I know you have a good look at those guys. I thought
look,
Andrews and Birchall and
I know going in that they felt pretty good. They were confident.
was down. There's a lot of players are down.
They felt going in that they were going to be pretty good, and they had a good week on the track. They thought they were ready to go. But
Played
Melbourne,
well at Adelaide Oval in the past.
Yep. Melbourne just were too good.
yeah,
I think
and
it's-
they were.
it's
Very,
that
very
simple.
strong.
So you have to tip your hat and go, okay, let's lick our wounds and we've got another chance.
Just Geelong is just an interesting stat. They had over 12 players, Dream Team points under 50.
Yeah.
So,
You can't win.
You can't win. And that just shows the pressure that Port Adelaide put on. And I think you're right, the speed and the game plan just didn't
Just
tick
quickly,
every box.
just quickly, did Geelong need to clean house now, or
I
can
think
they
so.
go another year and go? Because you're both saying it: the
Mate,
speed, pace of the game,
that's
the
right.
older
They look
bodies,
old.
the
They
bigger
look old.
bodies.
Yeah.
Well, Geelong have struggled in the last few.
Hawkins
final
couldn't bend over to
series.
pick up a ball.
Yeah,
That's
he's
right.
just
He
300
nearly missed
game.
that one. That
Yeah.
centre
Oh.
was glad. Well, see, that's what's happening now, though. That they're picking players to win flags.
Yep.
They're not building.
Yes.
So Isaac Smith.
call. Yeah.
These sort of blokes. Higgins.
Yeah. They got
hardly sighted. Isaac Smith hardly sighted. So they're cherry picking players from other clubs to try and win a flag.
Yep.
That can be fraught with danger if you don't win a flag, because these guys are getting on
Yep.
now. Then all of a sudden you've got
Big
4 or 5 or 6 blokes over 32. And what do you do then? Well, you go, hang on.
But in saying that, if Geelong had probably played against, say, Essendon on a wet deck, that slows a game down, and all of a sudden, that's probably
It's probably not going to rain.
wonder-
Probably not going to rain in Adelaide if it comes here. But let's move to
Perth.
All right, let's
If
move
they do
quickly
make
to
it.
GWS then. GWS and Geelong this weekend. Now, Toby Green.
3.
If you're Leon Cameron, you go, mate, I love you, but you can't do that.
No.
You
And every
just-
club
what
he's
do
on
you
the
think?
same. He set him up beautifully
So
that first
he
half.
has probably cost them a chance
Frustrated
to move
during the
forward.
third quarter.
Big
Because he's
chance.
too good
Phil,
to be lost.
Nothing in the last.
Yeah.
I was going to ask Ando, as a former player, if he was playing for GWS right now, how would he feel about Toby Green getting 3 matches now for that? Something that didn't even happen in
He's
the
lucky
game.
to get, honestly, he's lucky to get 3.
Well, it didn't even
Should've
happen in the
got- should've got
game.
more.
This happened after the game. They'd already won. So,
So,
it hurts, Ando. That's got to hurt
It's like
badly.
a king hit. Why would you do that? It's not part of our game.
He's
you
emotive.
just can't do it.
He's
and
emotive and he
and
can't
you're
do it.
so important. I mean, he's not a player coming up the ranks either, by the way. I mean,
No.
he's a quality,
Experienced player.
experienced player
Yeah.
that has done something like
He's gone
just
over the
dumb.
edge.
I mean,
He's gone over
hit
the
an
edge.
umpire, you can't do it.
So do you reckon there's and not that the other players need to think about that, but and I haven't had a good look at the footage. Do you reckon if you were playing, you go, there's every chance Toby's going to lose the pot here. Do I need to go and grab him and get him out the way?
Exactly.
You have to now.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so
You
that
have
would
to.
be the message from
Yeah,
now on. If
exactly.
you think he's losing it, get in the way.
Yeah.
And take
Bring
him
him
away
off.
from it.
Whoever's full forward,
Take him off.
who's at forward pocket, you just walk back to the huddle with him. Yeah, that's got to be the rule on the board before the game.
Can we talk about the Bulldogs here?
We need to talk about the Bulldogs, of course. They were big winners over 49-point winners over Essendon, and
Not
they
happy.
front up against Brisbane.
They were very
not
good.
happy.
Well,
I'm not
they
happy
were
with
very
the
good.
Oh,
in
I'm
the
not
second
happy at
half.
all. I'm
Very,
not
very
happy at
good.
all.
because
I think Essendon were a bit stiff. I know they didn't go in the second half and they got beat easily, really, but
All those free kicks.
well, they were terrible. And I mean, in
front of
finals,
goals. Wow.
there were some free kicks paid over the weekend in finals. There was one paid at Adelaide Oval against Carl Amon for a dangerous tackle, which to me was one of the most disgraceful decisions I've ever seen. But this Cody Waitman
Cody Waitman, he's doing a shoey and a cell wall. He
kicked
just,
4
he's just dropping
goals.
his head.
He kicked 4
Yeah.
goals. Now
They brought the rule in.
One of them,
don't drop the head.
one of them was probably okay. Like pulling him back in a marking contest.
Yep.
Dodgy, 50-50, but still could be paid. The other 3, no way in the wide world would they be paid anywhere else by anyone else.
Yeah.
They just weren't free kicks. Yet they were all 25 metres out straight in front of goal. That hurts
He
you
kicked 4
badly.
goals.
He kicked 4 goals.
Well, coming off the back of that, then of course they front up against Brisbane this weekend at the Gabba,
Yeah.
and they're not going to get the same service.
Well, you know what's
based
going to
on what
happen,
you're
Phil?
saying. So who gets it?
It's the boy who cries wolf. That's what's going to happen to Cody Waitman. He was going to get a legitimate high tackle soon, and the ump's going to go, no, mate, you're done. Because of what happened last week.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen to him. Because, and someone brought up a point a few weeks ago, and I thought it was a bit of a strange one. Is Cody Waitman going to be the most disliked player in the AFL soon? And I thought, that's a bit harsh on the young fella. I hadn't seen him play much, you know. But I know why they're saying it.
Yeah.
Drop the knees, drop the head, grab. In one instance there, Phil, he clearly grabbed the opponent's arm and dragged it over his neck. And the umpire went, yep, that's fair enough. Free kick, 25 metres out, bang,
Poor
goal.
old Essendon.
All right,
Damn it.
we need to get to Jamie for the sporting news. But on the back of that, I don't know if he becomes the most hated player or you go, the umpires don't know what they're doing.
Well, exactly.
So you've got to toss the court on that. Hey, we need to
call.
get over to Jamie. Sporting news, what have you got for us, Jamie?
Thanks, guys. Let's get right into it. Sacred Heart College won the SA All Schools Cup over Henley High School this week, just 3 days after defeating Ross Trevor. After kicking off with a fast start and leading 27-8 by the end of the first, they remained ahead throughout the entire match, which was held at Theberton Oval. Coach of the Hearts, John Simmons, says that his crew were determined to dominate and that everyone played their role as intended. With the final scoreboard reading 96-30, Hearts were more than happy to seal the deal with an undefeated season. In other news, the Goodwood Baseball Club have made the decision to get rid of the Indians part of their nickname. As clubs in North America are altering their own names to become more socially responsible, the changes seem to have followed through to Adelaide as well. After a vote was carried out within the club, 55% were in favour of changing the name and 45% were happy to stick with it. President John Martin says that their involvement with families, government, councils, schools and small businesses means that they need to be more socially accountable and considerate. In the AFL, it was fantastic to see our boys in teal claim the win over Geelong at Adelaide Oval in yet another week of finals. The scoreboard was 86-43, an incident of deja vu for Port Adelaide, reminiscent of last year's win against Geelong in the same situation. Power's Alia continuously applied pressure to the Cats, thus ending 8 of their attacks and proving himself to be one of the team's current star players. A 5-goal gap was created thanks to frequent turnovers, which could not be closed as Port continued to steam ahead. Geelong didn't have any answers, helping Port in their push for one more win to make the grand finals for the first time since 2007. To follow up on a story I reported on a couple weeks ago, the Adelaide Cricket Club are now going to field women's teams for the first time in 2 decades. The recent transfer dispute between Southern District and Adelaide has since been resolved and the 22 players' clearance requests have been approved. This means that the women's teams can now be licensed and will be going ahead to play a year of cricket in the second highest division. The SA Cricket Association says the team will begin in the second division to provide additional time to develop depth into the squad and to increase the number of players. That's all we've got for you this week. I'm Jamie Tenikoff and we've got more on the way after the break.